Alright guys, it's been a while since I started thinking about making a video regarding this topic, since what I'm about to show you all guys is something that truly makes you think up to what point is it worth to keep the kind of prices we have inside of Asphalt Legends Unite regarding offers and that stuff when you see the final profit of Gameloft as an entire company. So with no further delay, let's get into it. I will be honest guys, what I'm about to share with you all, it's probably one of the topics I like the most to discuss with the community, either if it's on Discord or other social medias, since regardless of how much you spend, most people certainly agree in one thing: these game prices are just too high. And some of you might think that I'm just making this video now because ways of purchasing in-game offers with lower regional prices like it used to happen in Argentina and Turkey are no longer available, since Gameloft already changed the pricing in those countries so they match with the average global pricing in most of the in-game items you can obtain by spending real money. And I will be honest guys, you will be kinda right, because you see, by purchasing goods at a cheaper price, my perception of the game balance when it came to prices was massively distorted, since I was spending a ton of money but I was getting a ton more stuff than if I paid the prices I had in my country, this is Spain. So now that those ways of purchasing by a cheaper price are no longer around, obviously I came to realize that this pricing doesn't really make sense if you consider that you are purchasing virtual goods in a game that specifically forced you to accept terms and conditions that clearly state that absolutely nothing inside of this game will ever belong to you, regardless of how much money you spend, and you have to accept this before even being able to play this game. And some of you might say, no wonder Sherlock, all these years playing and now you realize that this game is extremely expensive, and you will be wrong. What made me upload this video is the image you are about to see, which wasn't around before this and thus didn't leave us any chance to know how things were going behind the Gameloft's curtain. So before I show you all the image, you need to understand that Gameloft has always been, like any other business, quite opaque regarding their financial performance unless you were an executive inside of the company or, you know, an accountant or something like that. But in August 2024, Statista, which is a leading provider of market and consumer data and the place many businesses, governments, academics and other entities check in order to have access to accurate and reliable data, published this image, which you can see on screen right now. The total revenue in millions of USD dollars that Gameloft has been making each year since 2015, but, and this is a key factor, this revenue is explicitly coming from in-app purchases, meaning that what you are seeing on screen right now is how much revenue Gameloft made from their games since 2015. This kind of data is something extremely rare, which has barely been accessible to the general public through open and public resources through all these years. And finally we can see how much money Gameloft is making, but as you can see from this graphic, the information itself is not the most important thing for us as Asphalt Legends Unite gamers. The most important thing here is the trend the profits are following. Okay, so you don't have to be a doctor in economics in order to see the steady decline in Gameloft earnings from in-game purchases through the years. Since Vivendi took over, this is in 2016, price hiked in most of the games, which obviously lead to an initial momentum of growth, only to drastically freefall 3 years later as a result of the players leaving many games and Gameloft closing some other titles which could have brought some, extra profits in. The pandemic gave Gameloft a small balloon of air, but right after it, the decline has only been even more aggressive. So I think that this year 2024, and if the trend continues, which seems to be more than likely, Gameloft will earn somewhere in the area of the $55 million in revenue from their games in-app purchases, which is a 70% less of what they used to earn in 2015. Gameloft back then was easily one of the biggest gaming companies on mobile devices, and I won't say that pricing was glorious at the time, but it certainly wasn't as abusive and unnecessarily expensive as it is these days, no matter at which Gameloft game you look at. I know very well that if anyone from Gameloft checks this video, the odds of something to change are extremely small, basically because the studios themselves have to do whatever the executives tell them to do, and at the end of the day, all these developers and community managers and everyone involved in the development of a game like Asphalt Legends Unite have a bread to get, but unfortunately you have seen this on the graph. The current pricing system all the Gameloft games have will likely be the demise of Gameloft as a company, and time will prove me right. Listen, I'm not against a company making money and getting profits in order to get bigger and improve the quality of the services it offers. What I'm against are the insanely high prices they think it's the best strategy, while they could be making much more money by something as easy as slashing in half all the prices of any bundle inside the game of above $30. It's literally that, because there will always be at least one single guy willing to pay $100 for 3,000 tokens, for example, but I can guarantee you that you will make much more money if those tokens were at a max price of $50, since way more people would be able to get them, and thus more potential purchases will be made. This is obviously an example, but something as simple as this will make literal wonders. Same goes to the Drive Syndicates. The next Drive Syndicate card will cost at least, you see, $2,000 in order to be maxed out. If you reduce that price to $500 at most, not to lock the card but just to max it out, many people might get it at max, and even more people will surely spend to lock it. But not only that, multiplayer will be far more active with all these new users willing to try their new car, and at the end Gameloft could end up with much more revenue on their end. This entire strategy of trying to make something exclusive inside of a game by making it insanely expensive, it's clearly not working, despite Gameloft still earns a ton from Asphalt Legends Unite, which is obvious. But let me be clear guys, I'm not against of making some cards inside of the game quote unquote special in order to feel them a bit more exclusive, either by releasing them through not so easy special events or by making them a bit more expensive than the usual card, but the problem is that the difference is so absolutely insane that it doesn't encourage people to spend on most of the cases. And let's remember something guys, nothing lasts forever. Asphalt 8 started by releasing the best cards by $150 each, and now, years after the first Treasure Rush was firstly introduced, they release again the new cards they introduced by $30 a week later. Since obviously not that many people are interested on paying $150 anymore, and even by that, not a ton of people get the new cards by $30 each, despite I'm certainly sure that there are more people spending $30 than those who get the Treasure Rush cards by the full $150 these days. But you know, obviously all of this reasoning is pointless, since we all know that Gameloft won't change anything about this. First of all, because they must be thinking that making Asphalt Legends Unite pricing so expensive is a valid strategy in the long run, and secondly because yeah, we all know that Google and Apple take a 30% cut of each purchase you make from the game, but this last point is not so valid to justify why they should make some packs so expensive. At the end of the day, sure, Google and Apple may take their cut of every purchase we make, but if more people buy stuff in-game, they reduce prices in order to offer a value worth paying for, you will earn far more money regardless of the 30% cut. But you see, we can't blame the devs, we can't blame the community managers, but the truth is that you could see it on the graphic. In-app purchases revenue isn't increasing, and at least from the Asphalt Legends Unite standpoint, I'm quite confident that in the upcoming years it will keep shrinking, mostly because of the current pricing system. As always, you all guys know that I will be having a look at the comments, so make sure to let me know your thoughts about this whole thing in the comments section. I feel a bit bad for those working at Gameloft who genuinely would like to try a different approach in regards to pricing, but which they literally can't implement because of decisions made from above, but the truth is that the results were clear. Make sure to subscribe in order to not miss absolutely anything about Asphalt Legends Unite, drop your massive like, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye guys.